Welcome back into Fox 54 for 54 Sports. I'm your morning anchor, Jackson Rowland, alongside NASCAR reporter, analyst, expert, and somewhat of an aficionado, Mr. Michael Manny. Welcome back in. We're talking all things Talladega. Talladega Superspeedway races coming up this weekend, the Jack Links 500. We're going to break down everything you need to know. So, Michael, you've got a couple favorites to win this weekend. Who do you have?
Well, thank you very much, Jackson. In superspeedway racing, it's anyone's game if you're there at the end. But I do have a couple, yeah. First off, somebody you don't see here on the top 10 list, Brad Keselowski, Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. 6 wins at Talladega in his Cup Series career. That's most of anybody active in the Cup Series right now. Impressive. Hasn't done it in the current generation of car.
Right.
31st in points. Now might be the time for the breakthrough. He's had a rough start to the year.
He's got the experience.
He's got the experience. Somebody else with another rough start to the year, could be time for a breakthrough. Ryan Blaney, Team Penske.
Right.
Ford has a win on the year earlier in Vegas. Ryan Blaney had 3 straight DNFs at one point this year, but he's got 3 wins at Talladega in his career, including 2023. So it could be time for Ryan Blaney to break through. Jackson, who do you have?
Well, you mentioned Blaney. I think he's going to have a great race. He's just had some bad luck, Michael. I mean, you mentioned the DNFs, and this one's about surviving to the end. So Blaney's praying he can finally do that in a race. But I'm a biased guy. I'm not as much by the book as Michael. I like Chase Elliott. Does he have a great speedway record? Maybe not, but he is from close to my hometown, and I'm rooting for him, I'll tell you that. But he is a great driver, and you mentioned you've got to stay until the end at Talladega. Chase Elliott's a guy who can take care of his car. He can kind of navigate those wrecks, and he has experience. It's been a while. I think he's due, but I think he can get it done. Another guy I'm going to mention is Bubba Wallace, a guy who's won there before and seems to be having a decent enough year to give me some confidence that he can do it again, Michael. But I want to ask you, because we're talking about the difference in speedway tracks, what makes a speedway track different for those who don't understand?
So super speedway racing might be the most unique form of racing in NASCAR. Talladega especially, the most fearsome track on the schedule, maybe over 2.5 miles long, Jackson. In super speedway racing, you have to navigate through the drafts, get through the pack, and avoid the wreck.
It's survival.
It's survival. That is exactly it. It's not if the big one will happen, it's when the big one will happen. You have to avoid the chaos, and most importantly, it might sound cliche, but be there at the end. It doesn't matter if you're 31st in points or you've won 4 races on the year. When you get to a super speedway like Talladega, you could be punching your ticket to the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs if you get through the pack and have a little luck.
That's right, which is easier said than done for 500 laps at Talladega, that is. I'll say that 5 times fast. Like you mentioned, there's a lot that goes into it. It's one of the most fearsome tracks. It's quite daunting. So there's a little bit of luck, but there's some experience as well. I mean, you mentioned guys like Kyle Larson, who just, already a win on his belt this year, a couple that is, and just such an experienced driver. You've coined him before as one of the best race car drivers in the game right now. But at Talladega, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
And Kyle Larson, that has been a remark that some around the world have made. That he can get in a car anywhere and win, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's dirt tracks, whether it's IndyCar. He's running the double again this year at the Indianapolis 500. He hasn't won a race on a super speedway, but there's guys like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., like Michael McDowell, that have won races that were at the time long shots that have won on super speedways. So that's the thing. You have to be there at the end.
That's right.
Can't emphasize that.
That's right. And I want to mention somebody, Denny Hamlin, who's just kind of on a hot streak right now. But when you think about him heading into the speedway, which is so different than the races we're coming out of, how do we think about his performance?
Denny Hamlin's won anywhere there is to win in the Cup Series. He's in Toyota. Actually, just has been hot with Christopher Bell as well, his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. So really, Denny Hamlin's been on a hot streak recently, but it could be his game. It could be another Toyota. It could be, that's the thing, it could be anyone's race.
It could be anybody's race. Well, lucky for you, though, you're going to find out whose race it is on Sunday right here on Fox 54. Thanks for joining us again on 54 Sports. It's been Michael Manny, Jackson Rowland. We're going to be watching the Jack Links 500 on our couch as well. We'll give you a recap next week. We'll see you there.